Hi, my name is Farron, and this is video 3 of Light Beings at Large. If you have not seen the first 2 videos of this series, I encourage you to watch that. Either pause this video and go back, or after you're done with this one, check those out. The first one was my discovery. I talk a little bit about my personal experience. And the second one is about, I read a list from Matt Kahn about, it's called Old Self Die Off. So I just wanted to get the words right, so I looked down at my notes, okay? And one thing I want to point out before I go on, I'm no expert. I am no expert. I'm not certified in anything except for yoga teaching. And yeah, I just need you to understand that. So for this video 3, I would like to talk about why attunement. Now, first of all, this word is one of those things where, to be honest, I'm not even sure it's the correct word. Although I really love the word itself. It's kind of like the misunderstanding of the word vibration, right? So here's the thing. As far as I can understand it, attunement is a process that we go to bring ourselves to the level of being able to take on and work with and integrate a certain frequency or high energy or something like that. So high energy, right? Some people get it as emotion. Some people are sensitive to other people's emotions. Some people are sensitive to the electromagnetic frequencies. Some people are sensitive to too many cars, too many people, all that kind of stuff. There's so many different ways of looking at sensitivity and attunement. So everyone is different. We all have to go through a different process, right? And this process for me had a lot to do with my yoga, asana, and meditation practices, because I have not had any kind of like fitness or anything like that. I did the things they made me do in high school, which was very little. I did the things they made me do in junior high school, which was at minimum at best, because I used to be very good at getting out of doing any kind of physical activity. So it became very important to me that at some point I get into this body. Now, was that part of my plan? Yes. Did I understand that cognitively? No. And that is basically why I am able to talk to you about a process, because I did actually go through a process to figure this out. So if you're very sensitive, if you are a light being at large and you're unsure yet, you might pay attention to how you interact with your environment, how you interact with other people. Like right now, there's someone walking by, and they're walking by very slowly, and it's kind of like I'm looking at there like, what are you doing? Are you listening to me? I don't know. Yeah. So, I mean, that's not the most awesome way to interact, but at the same time, I'm in the middle of recording videos, so I wanted to keep going. Okay, so where was I? Okay, paying attention to how you interact with your environment. What kind of reactions do you have when the bus is late? What kind of reactions do you have when strangers walk by unexpectedly? Even though I'm in the park, right? I know people are gonna walk by, except for he walked by twice. Okay, so this is important for attunement, right? How do you interact? How do you hear? How do you see? Do you scrunch up your face a lot? Do you squint your eyes? That's one, that's a big one. Do you talk? Do you speak very loudly? Do you have to be the loudest one in the room? Do you whisper? Do you whisper all the time? Do people constantly have to tell you to speak up? These are all defense mechanisms. They are also the ways we interact with the environment, with the people around us, in order for us to move forward with the process that the earth is going through right now. Now remember, I'm not an expert, so You can ask me questions, but I may not be able to answer them. As far as I can tell, we have a lot of energy coming at us. There's a lot of atmospheric interference, and we all talk about this in different ways. Some people talk astrology, some people speak influxes, some people are extremely agitated when these things go up and down, and they are not going down, which is kind of funny. We just go up and then we get used to it, and then we go up and then we get used to it, depending on where you are in the sensitivity level, right? How empathic are you? How empathic are you? That's a squirrel, okay? Not a person. Okay, so do you feel other people's emotions, supposedly? Do you feel them, and have you been told that you take them on like a sponge? Well, you're not a sponge. Boop. It's just that nobody knew how to talk to you about what was going on with that, because nobody knew. There were so many people on this earth that are still figuring out what it means to be sensitive. And it's not the meh sensitivity thing. It is not that. It's not. It's different. It's a completely different process. So if you're one of those people that does feel other people's emotions, perhaps when someone is very angry around you, you can really feel like pressure or something pushing at you, and it's agitating and you don't really know what to do about it. Yeah, you know, if you're not upset about something specifically, if you don't have something going on in your life that is making you angry, the chances are high that if you're feeling that, you're feeling somebody else's anger that is nearby you, perhaps a family member or a young child that doesn't yet know how to process. Although I don't think we would feel children that way. Nope, I take that part back. It's not children. It can be animals that don't necessarily have the training or the ability to be around humans very well. That I think I've felt. But for the most part, it's for the most part, and it's an adult thing. You know, teenagers, adults, stuff like that. So what I'm saying is this. In order to be able to process the quantity of things in your environment, that's not a word that I really like to use anymore. In order to figure out how to handle and transmute things in your environment, you have to bring your body up to a certain level of ability to deal with the motion that's going on around you. That is why I like yoga practice, because especially group yoga, I posted a thing on my Instagram about this, but here's the thing. As someone that is as empathic as I am, to be in a group practice like that and deal with and understand and integrate my own emotional body and the things that I'm processing, see, there I used it again, anyhow, and the things that I'm thinking about versus the things that I'm feeling, and then also understand which things aren't mine, you know, the sorting mobile. It's not easy, but it definitely helped me a lot to be in those kind of experiences. But back to why attunement, because you want to be able to approach your environment from a steady perspective. Your one point, your inner guide, you want to be able to hear that. So here's the thing. If you live in a city, this is much harder to do, but it is more imperative that you go through it. Because if you live somewhere where you can just go outside all the time, the attunement process is very different. It is not something that you that I can even talk to you about. You have to find somebody that lives out there and figure that out. I mean, I sure can talk with people, but I guess my point is this. Part of what my guidance is going to be about is how to deal with this within the city, because that is hardest. And if you continually leave the city to gather your energies and vibrations, or whatever you want to call it, and you come back, it's just going to suck right out. So You have to figure out how to transmute these things for yourself, how to integrate integrate the energy around you. And that is basically why I started doing these videos, because I want to talk about that. So just for today, for this video, it is why attune, why attunement, why go through it? Because things are changing, things are going up. The amount of this stuff is just going to be more and more and more and more. And I think, from what I've been gathering from the mystics and all of that, that we have 3 to 5 years of this to go through. I'm not an expert, all right? So dates, what? I don't know. I'm not a date person. I'm terrible with time. But what I'm saying is I think that we have 3 to 5 years of learning how to transmute and process. I keep using that word. There has to be a better word for process. If you're watching these videos, please comment something. Process. What the heck? What is another word for process? Because that's not what we're doing. It's not what we're doing, okay? We transmute energies, we integrate our ego, and we integrate the ability to work with the energy that is around us. And this whole thing together is a process. So all these little things, they're not, I don't know, okay? Wow. If you got to the end of this video, you should get a prize. Thank you for watching. If you are a light being at large, don't forget, you need to send me an email at lightbeingsatlarge@gmail.com and tell me why you think this is so. Options: very involved with sound healing, very involved with energy healing, very involved with retreats, putting your feet in the ocean, rubbing sand as a scrub. There's so many different ways. I mean, there's so many different things. Maybe you're extremely sensitive and you just figured that out. That's cool. Let me know. Maybe you need help figuring out how to deal with that. That's kind of what I'm getting at. There are so many different ways that we can be a light being at large. There's magic involved for some people, visions, light codes, shamanic sound healing, anything.